Hello. Is the screen visible to everyone? Okay. So today the first thing in writing task 2 is people are confused about making compound sentences. They think that it is something that is difficult. Well, this is not true. This is actually one of the easiest things you can say in IELTS writing 2, and it can also improve your band score from 6 to 8. So compound sentences make a huge difference. So now let us understand how compound sentences are made. The first thing is the first method. Okay. To make compound sentences in IELTS writing task 2, you need to follow this rule. This rule is fanboys rule. Do you know about fanboys? Alpha. Are you comfortable in using in this English language, or should I change my language to Hindi or something else? Okay. So now let us have a look. What are fanboys? Actually, the rule of the fanboy says that while using a coordinating conjunction to join two independent clauses, you need to insert a comma before the conjunction. And if you do this, your sentence automatically becomes the compound one. Okay. So now the first thing here comes to your mind is that what are independent clauses? So independent clauses are such sentences which are not always the complete sentences. However, they sometimes look like complete sentences. You can say independent clauses are not always complete sentences. However, they have their own meaning, and whenever placed independently, or they give their independent meaning. Okay. So wait, I'll start the CC if you're not understanding my words. Wait a sec. Okay. So now let's have a look from here. The first thing is, what are fanboys? Let us understand what does fanboys stand for. So the fanboys are basically these 7 concepts. The first one is for, so which is basically the full form of F. F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, S equals to so. So in this case, when you are using such words between two independent clauses or to join two independent clauses, you need to insert a comma before them. Okay. Now let's move further. Now let us learn what independent clauses are. So what are independent clause or what is an independent clause? Well, an independent clause is that which looks like a sentence. It looks like a sentence, but it is not always a complete sentence and stands alone in meaning. It means it conveys its independent meaning. It does not depend on any other sentence to convey its complete meaning. We can say that it need not depend on another sentence to convey its clear message. Examples are, you have to finish your food. So this is a complete clause, independent clause. So what is the condition of an independent clause? Well, the condition is subject plus predicate. Predicate might be sometimes the object or sometimes it may be the adverb or sometimes adjective. For example, you have to finish your food. Here is you means subject and finish here is verb. So verb is predicate. If there are two things in any of the sentence that really looks like a sentence, it is an independent clause. Okay. Every sentence is clause, but every sentence is clause, but every clause is not always a complete sentence. Keep this thing in your mind. So look at the second sentence, then you can go outside. You here is subject, go is verb. So it is a clause and it is an independent clause. He is good at studies. Now, he is, what is he? He is pronoun. Pronoun is subject. And good, being good is his characteristic, which is here adjective. So subject plus adjective in case of predicate, it is also an independent clause. Here are some more examples. He is bad at sports. He was ill. He could not come to school. He was ill. He came to school. He is not good at studies. He is not good at sports. People can do part-time work. They can do full-time job. So all these are independent clauses. Now let us join two independent clauses using the fanboys concept to make a complete compound sentence. Have a look on these sentences. For example, you have to finish your food. You need to finish your food, comma, and then you can go outside. So what I did is I just placed and before this second independent clause and placed a comma before and. So this is a compound sentence. See, it's quite easy to do that. Look at the second sentence. He is good at studies, but he is bad at sports. He is good at studies, but he is bad at sports. He was ill. He was ill, comma, so he could not come to school. It is also a compound sentence. The first one is independent clause. The second part is also independent clause. How can we judge it? In the first clause, he is a subject. Ill is his adjective. So it's subject plus predicate. In the second clause, he is the subject and come is the verb. So it is also subject plus verb agreement and it is also an independent clause. So look at the fourth example. He could not come to school for he was ill. What does for stands for? In these conjunctions, in the part of coordinating conjunctions, for actually stands for because sometimes. It sometimes gives the sense of because. Okay. The fifth sentence is he was ill, comma, yet he came to school. It clearly says despite his illness, he came to school. Okay. He was ill, yet he came to school. He is not good at studies, nor he is good at sports. People can do part-time work or they can do full-time work. So these are the examples of compound sentences. However, there's also one other method that you can use to make compound sentences. If you get confused at some point of life or in your exam while writing that whether to use a comma before but, before and, or before so, if you get confused in such things, do one thing. You can remove all the fanboys and just directly insert a semicolon between two independent clauses. This is also a type of compound sentences. Okay. Look at these sentences. You have to finish your food, semicolon, then you can go outside. You can write it in this way, or you can also write it this way. You have to finish your food, comma, and then you can go outside. And another thing which you can do with compound sentences is, if you are not actually sure whether to use and, but, or so, you can remove that confusion just by inserting a semicolon between two independent clauses. Now let me tell you some more things about this. There is some sort of confusion always among students that before which and which but which so they need to insert comma, because there are many situations when you need not insert a comma. So now let me give you some examples. You just need to recall what I earlier said you. Okay. See what I told. You can only insert a comma before, you can only insert a comma before a conjunction, especially the coordinating one, when it is used to join two independent clauses. Okay. Otherwise, you need not insert the comma if the sentence is not fulfilling this demand. So here's what an independent clause. So now look at the sentence.